Yo, what's going on, people? We're back again. WrestlePurists Worldwide. I'm joined by Joe Hulbert, Manny the Hooper. And yeah, it's a Monday. Nothing too crazy has happened today, obviously, other than the WrestlePurists Awards, But yeah, nothing really crazy has happened today. But last week was a crazy week, so we're just gonna, do our Monday podcast. We'll ask to chat some questions and stuff, send questions in, and we're just gonna vibe for a bit before Raw. So yeah, man, Joe, how you doing?
I'm good. I've received many messages today from my friends in and out of the game regarding the WrestlePurists, awards. Some were positive, some were not so positive. Many messages regarding Logan Paul, which I think we all kind of saw coming. Right, that was like a bullet we saw it approaching us. But is what it is. I'll stand up to this one. But I'm very, very good. I'm excited actually. Like, for me anyway. I don't know where you fellas are at on this, but a new year has brought some optimism to me. I'm excited to get back in the game. I've been kind of out of it as of late, very inconsistent. So excited to cover wrestling in a more enthusiastic way than perhaps I have in recent months. So I'm really, really good, Monty. How are you?
Yeah, man, not bad. Same old. Been a busy day, obviously, with these announcements and stuff. Mondays are always quite busy for me, especially with the site and stuff. So yeah, man. But obviously, more importantly, Manny the Hooper, how are you doing today?
From Friday on was bad, and then my Monday started off pretty bad. So I mean,
why, man?
Friday my steaks got messed up on Friday, and then
tragedy.
I won't tell you that story. It's a long story. It's a my one steak died like 4 times. It's insane how it died, and then
wait, what
Monday,
happened?
My steak, like the cut of meat that you eat.
Yeah, it died. Is that what the phrasing you? Okay, carry on.
And then this morning, I fell asleep late last night. I didn't realize I fell asleep with my socks on, and then when I woke up, my sister woke me up to take her to school, and she knows that it's hard for me to wake up in the morning. So she said, "Hey, Alex, something happened to your dog. Something's happened to your dog." I jumped up. I was thinking something's wrong with my dog. Slipped while my socks were on the floor. And then she said, "Now that you're up, now you used to take me to school."
Well, I understand.
Always a story, bro. There's always a story. Yeah. But it's why we love him. But yeah, man, let's get into it. But first, obviously, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Send super chats if you're feeling generous enough to. Much appreciated. But Vince McMahon is officially back in WWE. Yeah, Vince McMahon is back in the WWE. It looks like the company is up for sale. They've hired JP Morgan to help facilitate the sale. There's obviously a list of potential buyers, but as far as I'm aware, everything so far has been pretty speculative. Nothing's really came forward about anyone actually preparing a bid or anything like that. So yeah, it looks like the company is legitimately going to be up for sale. Vince McMahon is back. That's been announced. It's official, everything like that. Apparently, he's still not even been to his office in the HQ, never mind backstage at Raw and SmackDown and running creative and stuff like that. But if we know Vince McMahon, that stuff is probably coming eventually. All we know at the moment is that it looks like WWE is definitely up for sale and that Vince McMahon is back. But as far as how hands-on he's going to be, what this means for Triple H being in charge of creative, and even what this means for like Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan as the co-CEOs. It's like, there's a lot of questions that I'm sure will be answered over the next 6 to 12 months. But do you guys think he'll come back to creative? And if so, how long do you think it will take?
I don't know if he's going to come back to creative before the sale. I think the real concern, especially if you're a fan of the product the way it is now, would be what he intends to do after the sale and what that sale looks like. Because again, we don't know a lot about the situation, right? Again, as you said, it's all speculative, but it certainly feels feasible to me that, one of the main conditions of said sale will be that he is back in charge post-sale, which is, to me, very, very feasible and very, very believable. I don't know if that would be a negative. I assume it would be. I would hope it would be when it comes to like a big conglomerate, considering the cloud that is hanging over that dude's name right now. There are some people that could buy the company who would not care so much about Vince being in charge and would happily let him do so. So I think the next few months, I don't think it will be a factor as of yet, because I think the sale, you probably should know by like the middle of this year, the sale should probably be pretty much moving along, you know? The big question is, but the big question to me personally is what he intends to do after the sale. Like, is this him coming back? I guess the best case scenario is he's coming back to like complete the deal and move on. That seems very hard for me personally to believe. That doesn't mean it can't happen. I just fear that he is trying to, secure a particular sale that positions him accordingly afterwards. So we shall see. Be interesting.
Where are you at with it all, man? You think he's coming back? You think he's staying at home? What do you think he's doing?
Oh, I think he's definitely coming back and he's going to take over. The question is, which deal is he going to take? Is he going to take a deal that's good for him, or is he going to take a deal that's good for the company? Because no matter what, it's going to be a win for him no matter what, because he's going to make a lot of money at the end of the deal. It's just that is he going to care about himself? And because the theory is that Hunter is doing all this that exposed him and all that. That is one of the conspiracies about it. So is he looking back like, oh, his family stabbed him in the back, so I'm only going to set myself up for now, and who cares about my family for the future? That's on them.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I'm interested about.
Yeah, I think
he's crazy, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it is insane at all to kick around the idea that he's legitimately going to try to burn this thing to the ground. And he may not even. The thing is, when I say that, is there's a chance he does it knowingly. There's also a chance he's oblivious to what he's doing and doesn't realize, because this thing could unravel, right? Now we don't know what the we don't know the situation as of yet in terms of there are some worst case scenarios here that are legitimately ominous is the word I'll use for now. This thing could go many different ways. I mean, lest we forget what happened the last time when this whole story broke. His response to that was, "This go on TV and do a victory lap." This is not
Then go backstage into Gorilla and say, "Fuck off."
And I don't want to make light of that because that's scummy.
He's,
but what I'm getting at is
crazy, bro.
He's crazy, and he's capable of some insane shit. And I think this story could go any which way because of that. I think it'd be very naive to just be like, "Yeah, he just wants to get the sale done, guys," and then it will be it'll be a fairy tale after that. I don't know, man. I just think it could get real messy.
No one knows, and that's the crazy thing with it for me. Because it's like you said, what you just said. It seems unlikely, judging off what we know about Vince, but he may genuinely might just be coming back to facilitate the sale and kind of just ride off into the sunset, a billionaire. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or he might be trying to burn the place to the ground, or he might think he's the man to fix it, or this, or that. We don't really know shit at the minute, but there's so many different possibilities, and they range from great to fucking terrifying, and it might fucking damage the business.
For sure. Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's it's crazy how much speculation and stuff that we can get through, and how much we've done. This is our third podcast with Vince in the title or something by this point now. It's how much content and stuff and how much conversation we can have about these things, even though really there's only just kind of the blanket fact that he's back. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You don't know what he's back and what he's actually doing other than he's put the company up for sale. But yeah.
Do we know
there's a wide range?
Do we know the board members that he's taken out yet or no?
Yeah.
It's out there.
It is out there. The guy that was leading the investigation into him regarding the payments to the NDA women or something, he stepped down. Someone else stepped down. Then obviously he fired 3 people as well. So 5 people in total have left, and 3, including Vince McMahon, have came in. So yeah, the board's already heavily shaken up. Heavily shaken up. So it could get worse. The thing that I was actually quite interested in, I wasn't seeing many people talk about in the days following Vince McMahon's return, was are more board members going to step down? Because 2 did it immediately. So say if we look at example, it's a much bigger company, obviously, but with Twitter, when Elon took over, so some people just walked out, but sometimes it took some people a week to walk out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, and that stopped people who were really high up, but all the way down to people who were just kind of workers. Do you know what I mean? So I was just wondering if something like that would happen in WWE. Thus far, not yet, but who knows? You know, it's only been a few days.
The other part that concerns. So go ahead, Manny. Go ahead, mate.
No, I was gonna say the people saying that they don't think he's gonna do creative. Like, if he wasn't gonna like, that's kind of like a dumb thing to think because, like, of course, I feel like him coming in and wanting to do the sales, he's gonna want to do creative. He's gonna want to be the guy that takes credit for everything. Like, save John Cena, the Rocker, there for WrestleMania week, the build to WrestleMania. He's gonna want the credit for bringing him there and him being the guy in charge of all that. So I mean, and look at Raw today. I don't know. There's like no lineup for it. And usually there's been lineup for it every week.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're planning.
One of the big things, and this is a gloomy subject, folks, and I am aware of the irony of us following my. Let's be more enthusiastic this year with this topic. It is what it is. The thing that stands out to me is, like as dark as it is to me, it's the reality is if that sale's coming, they're probably going to try and trim that budget. And a lot of folks just came back, and I'm not doing a bit or like trying to be funny about it. That fucking sucks. But that is a thing to like be genuinely concerned about if you're a fan of the product and you're a fan of certain wrestlers, because that's a thing that I assume is going to happen again. I mean, in terms of how many wrestlers WWE needs to run at the rate it kind of runs at, like it's a lot less than how many they have now. Now, how many wrestlers they need to have a good show is a very different thing. That isn't what Vince is going to care about, right? Like we've seen that in the last couple of years. So that concerns me in terms of like you talk about the health of the industry. There's places to work, but in terms of like a good living and a consistent work rate, like it's pretty limited in the States. And WWE kind of reverting back to what it was in 2020 and 2021 is alarming to for me as a fan of the industry. So I don't know. There's some good scenarios here, but there is a lot of bad ones. And it's very, very difficult to kick it around in your head as a fan. And again, I'm not educated on that, but just as a fan thinking about it, it's very hard to think about it for a while without coming to a very negative conclusion, frankly. So hopefully there's some positive updates in the coming weeks and months, but I'm not holding my breath on that, unfortunately, because I think it's going to get really, really bad.
Yeah, it could get disaster. It could become a disaster real quick. Look how quick it happened with him coming in. It's like one day Vince McMahon wants to come back, Wall Street Journal. Next day, Vince McMahon's back, Wall Street Journal. It can happen real quick, man. We got a couple of super chats real quick though. Bam, one of our greatest supporters, appreciate it with $2. Money to bid for the Fed. I mean, I'll throw my name into the hat.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get Monty to bid for All Japan.
We missed out on Ring of Honor, man.
Well, I don't know winning that bid.
We got outbid by a few thousand. It's tough. We became closer. Jamie said, good old Jamie, our head writer, we appreciate him loads, sending the £5 in. I've put feelers out to fight for due to no Joshy wins in our awards. I'm sorry to hear that, Jamie.
No loyalty around here.
The Joshy fans were mad at us today, bro.
I get it for sure.
Kwame makes a good point when we was talking about like the way the women's wrestlers awards turned out. It's like having the 3 stardom women probably like cancelled each other out.
I think so. I also it's what we talked about, right? With our preview show. Was it last week, a couple weeks ago? It's like it's still for them. When you have like 4,000 people voting, a lot of people unfortunately are dumb fucks like myself and just are more aware of the big 2 US companies, and that's not fair at all. But when you're doing a fan vote, that's inevitably kind of where it leans, unfortunately. So it's a shame, but I can't really speak to it because I'm as ignorant as everyone else, unfortunately. Hopefully change that some this year, though, we'll see.
You can also say the same thing about the pay-per-view one.
Yeah.
It's gone. I think bro, you should have seen his reaction when he saw Dax cleaning up. We'll talk about the awards eventually.
We will. Good.
Yeah, man, it makes sense. So I guess considering it's the only thing I've done all evening on Twitter, and there's been there's been quite a fair amount of discourse, which I was, I was kind of hoping for. It would have been real disappointing to just drop the tweets and just get like 20 likes, one quote tweet, Even if for people that don't agree, like agree, disagree, think we're biased. We've been called AEW Dick Riders and WWE Dick Riders today as a platform. Our followers have had the shit kicked out of them as well at points by certain people. But That's when you know you're doing something right. I think if you're getting called biased by both sides, then that seems like a pretty fair middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
So when we started off with the award announcements, our first 2 awards went to WWE guys. Should have seen our Discord. People panicking. People thought it was going to be like the No DQ Awards or something. Which, all respect to them, they've been around forever. But like, that's basically like a WWE fan vote at this point. I think we do have quite a heavy AEW audience, but I don't think it's like disgracefully like lopsided.
Right.
And as we get bigger as an account, I've noticed since we've gone past like 30K, we've started to just naturally attract. Because at the end of the day, most fans are WWE fans. Like, you took all the wrestling fans in the world, probably about 70% of them just watch WWE. So, as we grow, that'll kind of, I can imagine that'll like even out a bit more. But yeah, man, in terms of us leaning either side, it's kind of like that's just our fan base. And the media's definitely helped even things up a bit, like their contribution towards the percentages and stuff. So, yeah, man. Should I go through the awards? Should I just go through?
Want to, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bury any of the winners because I wonderful didn't vote for them. But
we got time to talk, bro. There's nothing.
I'll just go quiet.
Like I said, there hasn't been anything crazy. No, we'll just go through them one by one and we'll talk about each one. We've got time. Mm-hmm. WrestlePurists Rookie of the Year 2022 is voted for by fans and media. Number 1, Logan Paul with 35.1% of the vote. Number 2 was Hook with 25.6% of the vote. Number 3 was Braun Breaker with 25.2% of the vote. Number 4 was Takuma Fujiwara with 10.6% of the vote. And 5 was Tiffany Stratton with 3.5% of the vote. Thoughts?
That Tiff Strat number that's tough, man. It's a tough blow for the brand.
I was disappointed.
Yeah, I understand. I think that may be a case of if you watch NXT, you pick
which
Braun,
isn't a lot of people.
Exactly, right. I don't know. We talked about this in our preview. It's very hard to talk about like slighting what Logan Paul did. He had like 3 awesome showings, and the last one was a great world title match. But he had 3 matches, and I can't compute that. Doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, bro.
Me, I was generally confused on why people were talking about crypto. I said, man, what are they talking about?
A lot of people have that's kind of slipped under the radar. It's really weird that is like the Crypto Zoo Logan scandal thing. He's like because those CoffeeZilla, the person, he's kind of like documented it on the YouTube channel. Those videos have been out for like well over like a week or 2 now, and it's like they blew up on his channel, and there was a lot of discourse about it on like his side of Twitter. But like a lot of obviously with him being in WWE and stuff, he's like the WWE side of Twitter was completely oblivious to what was going on as Logan was like getting outed as a potential scammer. That crypto situation is really. He's definitely got to kind of, do some sort of damage control.
Yeah. I literally had no idea what they were talking about. Like some people were just like, because of that, he shouldn't have won Rookie of the Year. I said, what are you guys talking about, bro? It's fucking wrestling.
Yeah.
Well,
it's difficult for sure. Has Monty froze, Manny? Or am I imagining that?
He did.
Look at Monty. In the height of his powers, talking about his awards, like that, all gone. All right, folks. Well, just to be clear, Manny, do you agree with this Logan Paul business? Not the crypto part, him winning Rookie of the Year.
I can't speak much on the Crypto Zoo because I don't know what about. But yeah, I agree with him winning Rookie of the Year.
Here he is. Oh, man.
My Wi-Fi just literally went off. Like it went off and it just reconnected. So,
okay.
Logan Paul. Yeah. Logan Paul. Pretty much to say what you said, Joe. Was like the 3 matches he had, he definitely exceeded expectations. Like especially in the SummerSlam main event with Roman. But it's 3 matches. Literally 3 matches. It's tough. Like, that's the only thing that really makes it tough, I guess. But the lack of matches. But like the matches he did have were ridiculously high. I don't know, man. I went with Braun Breaker because
I mean, who do you want? If you want to break it down, like what Hook didn't wrestle as much as he wrestled more than obviously than Logan, but then his matches are shorter. Braun Breaker can't even get over in the NXT arena.
You got the
nobody knows who Fujiwara is. You know, he's a Dragon Gate.
Yeah, that's a shame. You know,
Trish Stratus was injured half the year.
Half the year.
It definitely felt like me, like Braun. I don't know. Braun felt like the obvious candidate to me. I understand what you're saying, Manny, but I mean, being over in that building.
Yeah. Also, the only reason why he's not over is because he hasn't been called up to the main roster yet. You know what I mean? It's like bro, he don't lose. You know what I mean? He beats everyone, like, and it's just When did it happen? I think it was after the Gacy feud, bro. Where you could just tell that the NXT crowd, it's the same people everywhere. They just kind of were like, "All right, we know you're gonna beat everyone. Like, kind of go on, you know."
Mm-hmm.
Then, like in some matches, he'll get over because he's just kind of like beast, and he'll do like a cool spear or whatever. And you know what I mean? In some matches, if he's against someone that audience really likes, he'll get those mixed reactions. It's really weird, you know.
Yeah.
But I think just like as a talent, I think him calling off towards the end of the year isn't on him, you know.
Yeah.
I think as a worker, he's really solid for, you know, obviously being a year in. He obviously looks great. He's a fucking impeccable athlete, you know. He can talk. He carries himself like a big deal as well with the belt. He doesn't look off place on him. You know, he's a blue chip talent. You know, he is like he's someone that if you're Triple H or God forbid Vince, you know what I mean? Like even Vince, I think even Vince would fucking look at Brian and be like, yeah,
no, he's money, bro. He's like he's looked great almost from day one. I'm surprised, but I understand NXT has a limited audience. Whenever I see him, he's impressive. But then again, I don't see the weekly TV, and I understand the feuds have been very bad. And like the Gacy thing's a perfect example where the match they actually had at the In Your House was like, it was fine. There's, you know, I had no issue with the match, but I'm told the build was the challenging part, and that's stuff I didn't see. So Braun was my pick, but you know.
We have a Dax response to our awards as AO screamed in the live chat.
Okay, what do we have?
Okay, so Dax quote tweeted our tag team of the year tweet, which obviously they won that by 64.5%, which was the biggest percentage, like
fair,
you know, by of any of the award. And he quote tweeted it saying, "I literally broke my body to try to be the best. Thank you all for voting." And then he retweeted some of the other things that he was nominated for. He came second in Best in Ring.
Yeah, well, you know, I run a campaign in order to make that happen. So we had like 12 late night grin staff members on the vote. You know, it is what it is. But no, he had obviously a great year. With FTR, they felt like such a lock to win tag team of the year that percentage being high. Honestly, like, I thought it could be higher. They had such a crazy year. That's cool. It's cool deal.
The only choice
when he's sending out the physical. The trophies.
I'm gonna send them all out a ring.
Yeah,
bro. I'd love to be able to do that. Genuinely, get them all like a cool little ring.
Imagine Lamonte in the LA Forum backstage making a video or something like that, handing him the little plaques like PWI did last year.
Beast inside the ropes, and there was that one of Bryan Danielson with all the blood. You remember it?
Yeah,
he's pulling the crazy eyes.
He has like a bandage wrapped around the top of his head. Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. That's good shit. All right, what's that? What's our next award here?
Yeah, FTR obviously. They've had probably one of the best shows the tag teams ever had. Do you know what I mean? So
it was pretty special. I mean, when we get to match of the year, I think it will speak to that because that could have easily split their vote on that front, and it did like the opposite. They just led the way. It was fucking nuts. So we'll get to what we got next, Monty.
WrestlePurists most underrated wrestler of the year 2022. Chad Gable, number 1, 33.3%. So that's a third of the votes. Number 2, Speedball Mike Bailey with 30.75%. Number 3, Emi Sakura with 18.6%. Number 4, Mustafa Ali with 11.7%. Number 5, Ludwig Kaiser with 5.26.
So,
5.65.
You know, Monty, that I voted for Ludwig Kaiser. And
yes,
what I'd recommend to the audience is just flip the list because the least voted for in a most underrated list is actually the most underrated by law. Definition explains that. So Chad Gable can get the tweet or whatever, but I consider this to be a victory. Manny, does that math make sense to you? It works for me. Does it work for you?
Yeah, because that means you're right. If it ends up you're being right at the end. That's how it goes in my head. Every time I'm wrong, I just try to flip it the logic to make it that I'm right.
Factual. Good call, Manny. I appreciate it.
Ludwig, I think Ludwig is who I voted for.
He's actually underrated, bro.
Bro. No one talks about him.
No.
Is that because they just don't know his name?
His name has changed, but he's a very good wrestler who no one ever mentions. Every single week, Chad Gable gets stuff. I mean, look, if it's booking, then I understand Chad Gable loses every week, but this one's always hard because people vote it on like booking and perception. We discussed this on the preview, but Chad Gable's fucking awesome, so I have no issue with winning it. It's just
you know what's weird? Like people always say, like they always call FTR bald and hair. That's the real. I mean, Imperium's the real hair and bald. You just go like, oh look, there's a guy with the hair, you know.
Like you need to make that a thing, bro. You need to work on Imperium hair, Imperium bald. That's slick. That's actually really, really strong. I like that. I like that a lot. That's good stuff.
We've got a couple of super chats. My Lord Chaos 199, appreciate it. AEW predictions for this week and in 2023. My prediction is that I don't know, man. I don't think Sasha's going to be there. I think it's not really a prediction. It's not a really new prediction to anyone that listens to these podcasts because I've not once said that I think she's going to be there. But
you didn't listen to Alvarez last night?
What the Outsiders versus the AEW Originals?
Yeah, one. Alvarez, he's like, I think something big's gonna happen, and then like he just goes on about whatever it is. He says he doesn't know what it is though, but he thinks something big's gonna happen, and he says he thinks it involves the women, and he's like, there's no way that they let Britt Baker on the pre-tape go boss, and then he's just like, I think there's gonna be like a AEW's original versus the XWE thing, which was incredible.
So does that mean Mercedes will be a heel, like she is in New Japan? I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the best choice, but if it was,
I ain't had one good scenario. I ain't had one.
What if she just came in, they had like an awesome match, and she won? What if they did that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really like or any of this women's war games. I just prefer they just do like a dog collar match. But that's just
you're very aggressive when it comes to dog collars and Mercedes Moné. It makes me uncomfortable.
Hey,
nonetheless,
I mean, AEW's 3 for 3 right now in dog collar matches. Keep the streak going.
Fair. The last one was a Ring of Honor match, though, Manny. Please credit the correct promotion. Honor is real, as you know.
It's actually AEW presents Ring of Honor now.
Factual, you're right.
Look at this live chat. Look, Monty doesn't want her to be there. Monty wants Mercedes to go back to the Fed. Bro, honestly, I'll be real. I'll keep it straight up right now. I actually want Sasha to go to AEW. The number thing I actually want her to do on my list is I want her to blow up Stardom. But that is what I like. That's the one thing I want her to do. If I could pick one thing,
cool. Yeah.
I want her to blow up Stardom, take it to the next level. But I want her to go AEW, man. There's nothing for her in WWE, bro. What's she gonna do? She could win the Rumble and have a top babyface title run sort of thing. But it's like, I guess on paper, she's pretty much fucking done everything anyway. Like, there's not really anyone that really excites me that she could wrestle, except for people who are like next generation. If I meant I'd watch her wrestle Roxanne, and that don't compare to me wanting to watch her wrestle Tam or Julia or something like. Do you know what I mean? So, or even like even Tony Storm or Jamie Hayter in AEW, or do you know what I mean? Or Jade. There's nothing really in WWE that would excite me about Sasha Mercedes coming back. Whereas on the other side of the coin, there's quite a lot. But the main thing would be the Stardom stuff. Like the one match I want to see is her versus Julia. That's top of my list.
Yeah, that's a big match.
Monty, do you want Sasha to break Jade's record?
No.
Thank you.
I don't want it anywhere near the TBS title, bro.
I don't like it. I understand the belt part of it. I get it. But having Jade as an undefeated champion opposite Mercedes, that's big money wrestling, That adds something to the attraction to me. Undefeated, that's pretty cool.
If the world title, say if Sasha beat Jamie and it was title versus title, then I could get into that. But you know what I mean. But like Sasha just being in the TBS scene, like that's just.
I get you. Yeah. It's more the match than the belt for me. that's
what makes it tough, bro. It's like I don't want it anywhere near the TBS, but that is the fucking blatantly obvious match. Like that is the match you book.
I don't even understand it when I see people online saying that Sasha needs to be in the TBS picture. I'm like, yeah, hey man, look around, look at the people that are around that title, and look around who's on the world title picture. I'd rather her be in the world title picture. And I'm like, what's the whole point of her just beating Jade and beating her record? I mean, I don't think she needs that accolade. I think you should just do it to build somebody else up. Not.
Well, I think you're right. I think it's absolutely fair to say she doesn't need the accolade. Someone like Willow would benefit more. But to me, it's just from a commercial point of view, I think that could genuinely be a big match. It would have to be promoted in a certain way that I don't know if they'll necessarily promote it. But like to me, if you give that like big fight feel and hype, and you like a press conference, and especially if that shit was in Vegas at Double or Nothing, and you like really went for it on that front, and you give it a very particular kind of promotion, I think that's like a money match. And the big thing would be any new eyes that were kind of following Mercedes' career. Jade is like obviously has that like superstar appeal, right? Which is something that we all talk about a lot, but it's a matter of you have to actually then convert that to something more, more tangible. And I think Mercedes could help on that front. Honestly at this point, I have no doubt about the match. I think Mercedes could have a genuinely really good match with Jade. Jade's come along. Like I think that could happen. So
I think Jade's been good the last two performances, but I think if you also have Jade beat Mercedes, I think it just adds more pressure to her. I think it's just like, well, you beat her, so now it's like, where do you go from here and all that?
It's hard. Yeah, I don't think there's a perfect answer. I think either way you have to explore that matchup, just maybe not with Jade as TBS champion.
I think that's why it's like Dave's really bullish on the fact that like if Tony is bringing her in, which he doesn't think he is, like it has to be like a 3-year contract because you need the commitment. I think I haven't really worked on this tackle idea yet, but like I probably wouldn't. You could have something like Jade has a streak, drops the belt, kind of not immediately to like Red Velvet or something, but like when's Chris back, man? When we got the Statlander back, bro, like May or some shit, I'd have a drop the TBS title, build up some steam, get into the world title picture. Do you know what I mean? And do it like that. And when she's like fucking, I don't know, like 60-1, 65-1 or something, So she's still, so like it's kind of it's like Jay Cargill 2.0. So like 1.0 was the TBS charge. That came to an end, for whatever reason. You can either get fucking electrocuted like Goldberg, protect her, whatever the fuck you got to do, do whatever you got to do, Tony, protect her. I mean, then you build up and up and up to it. Do you know what I mean? Because people will be clamoring for that if they're in the same promotion anyway. But I think the TBS title situation makes it really like it kind of makes it a bit awkward to book. And like her being undefeated as well kind of makes it a bit awkward because like in an ideal world, is Sasha really the person you'd want to like break that record that you've spent the past 2 years building? I don't know, man. Because think how much it would do for someone like Chris Statlander. It'd be so big for her, with Sasha, it'd be like expected as well. Like that's kind of thing that puts me off as well. I think, like if it was like one of the first matches and she comes into the promotion, it's like Mercedes is obviously going to win.
No, I agree. It depends on if she's signed for a like long-term deal. I'd have no issue with her breaking the streak because while you're right, it would help Willow more or Red Velvet more. Mercedes. Like, if you get her in the door as a full-time talent, the priority should be maximizing who is then probably your, like, biggest active star.
On top of that, she's young, too.
Why wouldn't you just put the world title on her then? Do you know what I mean?
You don't have to choose. You can do both, right? I mean, to me, it's like, it's great, the concept, like, let's have Red Belt win the TBS belt, but then what happens to the TBS belt? Like, do you think it stays, like, really as a priority? I think it's strong to be a priority with Jade, and that's she's on his features.
That's why I'm
she could bring the belt up.
I think Stat's like the obvious one,
Yeah, I agree. That's great.
Sheeda would be cool. Like, Sheeda having, like, weekly... I like the idea of Riho slaying the Giant.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah, one of those for Rio, Shida, or Chris if she comes back.
What about
in
Willow?
the next.
I think Willow's for the ROH.
I really like Willow, really do. I have even like before, like she was in AEW. You know, she's only been in AEW 2 minutes, but I don't know, man. I'd give her a run with the ROH belt first, honestly.
I don't know. I think that's what they're gonna do. I want to see her as Athena. She has like she's already got over in big, the big arenas and stuff. It's like I think she actually she of all of the division is in like the top percent in terms of people that can go over on a national scale. So I don't know.
And I want to see yes, I think she's going to defend the IWGP Women's World Title on AW too if she's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's going to be the way because I know she also wants to wrestle Tokyo Joshi Pro wrestlers and all that.
Yeah.
And all these other
don't
yeah, I don't think they would let that happen like on Stardom or in New Japan, but in AEW she'll be able to do that.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not convinced she's even coming in, bro. So this is all air from me.
We should see if she comes in for
yeah, man. I think she's just gonna do this. Actually, he said, bro, this world tour thing that she's gonna do. It wouldn't surprise me at all, genuinely. She's going AAA, bro. I told you this, man. She's gonna wrestle Sexy Star.
Well, fucking
no, not that Sexy Star. The current Sexy Star.
I'm flipping. You imagine that?
Sexy Star.
You imagine that down Twitter? Carry on, man.
I don't even know if. I know. I just know that AEW. No, AAA is now going to be cool with the AEW now because they brought in Roosh. They saw Vince was back and like, oh, can you let us borrow Roosh again?
Conan was on. Let me fly through these super chats real quick. Darren Walker, £5, appreciate it. Apart from Mercedes, what other wrestlers like to see in AEW in the next 12 months? Deonna Purrazzo and Nick Aldis be the two I pick. Oh God, what a part! What
is the situation with Deonna? Is her deal up?
I think it's coming up.
She's an interesting one. I mean,
she's definitely interesting.
I think she'll have options. Yeah.
It's a shame that she got like no reaction on. Was it a Battle of the Belts or a Rampage episode that she was on?
Bro, it was Dynamite. It was Dynamite. Main evented Dynamite. It was wild.
Yeah, it was brutally quiet for that. But she's good. She's a good wrestler, man. You know what I mean? So it's like, and like you see, like the AEW Women's division, like it could definitely do some more ring generals. Deonna, I think, would fit that bill. You know. Like she could carry some of the women through matches and stuff like that. Here's the top person I'd like to see in AEW in the next 12 months. CM Punk.
Yeah.
Hey man, let me tell you about CM Punk, man. On Saturday or when was it? When he posted that? When was it when he posted that picture? Saturday, right? Him working out.
Yeah, something like that.
I think so. Either way,
it was Saturday. I think it was Saturday because I was like, man, I feel like quitting my job, and then I saw him working out when I was eating on my lunch break. I saw him working out on my lunch break, and I said, "Fuck, man! If he can go back to work, I can go back to work." And I just went back.
Incredible equivalent she drew there. Amazing. That's beautiful. Honestly, though, like it sounds like a bit, but in terms of new signings, I'm kind of like whatever because it's just the roster's great. And it's a matter of using who's there. And I actually think Tony's done like a genuinely good job in the last 2 months of like, improving on that front. Less rotation and more like maximizing the guys he wants to push and feature. That has resulted in some people falling off the TV, but I think you sometimes have to make those sacrifices. So for me, if I'm just being totally honest, yes, CM Punk. I mean, Nick Aldis would be very funny for a range of reasons. So, with that in mind, I would like to be live on the air with Manny watching Dynamite when Nick Aldis comes out. I feel like we could do a lot with that. So I'm for that.
Nigel and Nick Aldis.
Yeah, man.
I want him to be carrying around like the Ring of Honor World Championship, like the NWA one, like that. Just be great stuff.
Him coming in as the real world champion could be like an incredible bit. I mean, it would get over Oni with like 4 of us online, but fuck, our 4 would have a killer time. You know, could you imagine? He comes out with like a gimmick belt and it's all like blurred out. We can't show this on TV, you know? You just pretend he's the NWA champ. Who gives a fuck? Tyrus has got it. Just pretend.
You know, nobody's gonna like this because look, man, I can't believe I'm saying this, but as much as I hate MJF, I would like to see what it would look like between MJF and Aldis while they're arguing over like the world title and all that.
So many like, if I could shoot with you, brother, you know, there'd be like citing wrestling journalists back and forth, and Nick would like pull out the Observer. Best promo, huh? You know, fucking.
Hey, that's when you have Tony Schiavone. That's when you have Tony Schiavone with the big microphone in between them.
Oh yeah,
and they bring back the All Atlantic AEW banner that they used to have, and it's just like
tell you what, bro, that Tony Schiavone. I've been watching a bunch of old WrestleMania to doing this thing with Ibu. It's like, bro, Schiavone sounds like a completely different person now, man. His voice is fucked. Like, it's not fucked because he doesn't sound bad, but it's just so different, bro. Like you know what
35 years ago, bro.
It's all the coffee you drink at Starbucks.
It's he's done a lot of talking into microphones and projecting his voice over the years, mate, because his voice is cooked.
I would like to just make this clear. I legitimately think Nick Aldis is going to join the new fledgling faction of Brock Anderson and Brian Pillman Jr. I think that's a thing that will happen. And the day it does, and they shoot an angle on Dynamite, and Manny and I are watching live on the air, we're gonna have some content. Yeah, that's all I know. We're gonna have some content. We'll let it play out.
$5 super chat from Pylons. If you're AEW, how do you debut Nick Wayne? Big spot on TV off the bat or elevation?
Same with Darby for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now that you've done that in front of the crowd and stuff like that.
Yeah,
we've all seen it, even though it was after the show. Like,
well, anyone who's got remember on the TV show, Joe snatched him. Remember, he was in the front row. No, seriously, do you remember that?
Yeah. That's what
I wasn't doing a bit.
It's the way he sold. It's the way Nick sold it for me.
Yeah,
he sold that.
He understands the business. You know, some of these younger guys, man, they just understand the business. Like on Andretti,
yes,
how he's going around, how he's going around selling his eye like a fireball. Nick Wayne selling the choke, man. These guys just get it, man. You know,
absolutely. I think you either do a TNT title match for Darby, assuming he's the champ when that comes around, obviously, or you do say it as a tag team. I think you have to.
It's not though. It's an easy way to get in. Do you know what I mean? Because like, once he's in there with Darby, he's already going to be like over to a certain extent, if that makes sense. And once he starts doing his moves and he's showing what he can do, and it's like, oh my god, he's only just finished high school, and it's just like it's easy.
By the way, just quickly on the point of Darby and the TNT title, that Mike Bennett match was damn good TV wrestling. I wanted to quickly mention that I've got a review tomorrow on the Grin page because I really enjoy it. I'm really happy for Mike Bennett. Super scrappy wrestler at this point in his career. He's like added a real toughness to his work, and it fit beautifully against Darby. You know, I thought they had a really, really strong TV title match or TNT title match, whatever. So, really liked it. Really liked it a lot.
I always felt like Mike Bennett was slept on, and I think he went out there and proved like he can actually go and open a lot of people's eyes. Because
we've got 6 spots in the chat.
And I actually thought he was the best worker. I think he's the best worker of the two. And I know people make fun of Taven because of what Ring of Honor did to him, but I really hope the Kingdom stay on AEW because
me too. Yeah, they're a good team, man.
Yeah, they really need them in. They can also have good singles matches. So
yeah, I think of all of the heel teams that could go to Ring of Honor full time when the TV starts, I actually think they should be one that stays in AEW because also, you know, if they're going to just feud with the Briscoes again, and it's like I think they deserve to be in the TV rotation. Like, I think they're genuinely, and again, I understand why everyone dunks on them again. So I'm not saying they should be the top heel team. But they're really solid. And they're good for like the role-playing role they need, which is a solid underneath him, which, as you said, man, he can give them singles matches too. See, I like the Kingdom. I'm happy for both guys. I think people kind of judge them on their old work and haven't seen them for the last few years. They've been pretty damn good this last few years, man. They really have. So good for them. Anyway, my bad, Bonnie. Let's continue on here, mate.
Oh yeah, that's more bad for anything. We're just rolling, you know. Bree Woo 199 Mercedes versus Makito. Yeah, that would be
Sure.
cool, man. The list is endless, bro. Especially when you start like listing off the Joshi wrestlers, like it gets, it's actually, to be fair, I said the list is endless. Where, to be honest, 90% of it is like Joshi wrestlers. To be honest, so yeah, she can wrestle Britt Baker and Jay Cargill. And that. Like, yeah, cool. Like, you know what I mean? But like, then we start mentioning the names we were talking about earlier. That's when we're cooking. That's why I say what I say about her blowing up Stardom, because for me personally, that's just kind of what I want to see her do. WrestlePurists for Fabrizio Romano, but $2 super chat, appreciate it. Anna J to PWG, here we go. Yeah, she was there last night. Whole J,
That was cool.
Rocked
The whole
up.
group being there was genuinely cool. Like,
Yeah.
Jericho, as weird as it sounds, Jericho surprised me less than Hager showing up with the hat. Because that sounds like something Jericho would do. But getting the whole squad, like, it's a cool deal,
Yeah.
man. I like shit like that. It's a nice little boy.
I hope that they put him on the cover and they call it Pro Wrestling Gorilla.
Another Jericho name.
Gorilla is insane.
Bro, don't stop with him. He does not stop with these Jericho names, bro. Okay, so let me just get back to the WrestlePurists Awards. Yes. The prestigious discourse creating, opinion sharing awards that we have. Okay, so we was at Chad Gable, right? So he was most underrated. Yeah, Speedball just kind of missed out by less than 3%, which, him just being up there is like, he was nominated for a few things this year, so it's like, it's cool. Like, he's literally an Impact wrestler, you know what I mean? Like, so him being able to put in the work everywhere, because he's literally been wrestling like 3 times a week all year on all the indies and shit. All power to him, man. Good for him. Yeah. Obviously, he done really well in the wrestler of the award vote, which we'll get to. But next, WrestlePurists Most Improved Wrestlers of the year 2022, as voted for by fans and media. Number 1, The Acclaimed with 58.6%. Number 2, Mina Shirakawa with 12.5%. Number 3, Liv Morgan with 11.3%. Number 4, Angelo Dawkins with 10%. Number 5, Solo Sikoa with 7.6%. Most Improved Wrestler of the Year, The Acclaimed.
I mean, when we went through the contenders and The Acclaim came up, it immediately felt like a home run.
It was.
Yeah, it was. And like I'd say this all the time because it's important. We all come on here and talk like we know what the fuck we're talking about. But I was so wrong about The Acclaim. Like, legitimately. And I mention it regularly because it's important to. I thought their ceiling, at the start of last year, I would have told you their ceiling was a little bit overset. I thought they were a very, very good comedy underneath team. I didn't see them becoming what they've become, which is a team that can go out there and have like great matches. They stole the show at All Out 2022, and that's most of that is me misreading the situation, but a lot of it also is they got a lot better. Bowens his work was always exciting. His promos in the last year, like when they do in-ring promos and Bowens leads the way, I think he's tremendous. And Max has come a long way too. I don't know if you saw, I know it's funny to cite a Dax Harwood podcast on WrestlePurists, but Dax's little segment about The Acclaim was actually like pretty interesting because he talked about what he perceived them to be like as workers and how impressed he was when they worked, last month for it. And I think his description pretty much nailed it. Like they're a really great team, and they've made that leap officially in the last couple of months. Of they now feel like they're in that kind of rare top tier, which previously was Bucks, FTR, and like Lucha Bros were the third team. That was the longest time in AEW. Now they belong in that conversation and then some. They're the most overacting in the promotion, arguably. So, yeah, I think it's the right choice, ultimately. Yeah.
Adding Billy Gunn to that group was one of TK's best decisions. Man, I think adding Billy Gunn just like took him to a whole nother level because they all play off each other and they actually do feel like an Attitude Era act on modern AEW TV.
Honestly, bro, that whole thing was one of Tony's best. Like, from a booking point of view, I think you could really argue that his biggest hit creatively in 2022 was like his work with the Gun Club and Acclaimed as a unit and the way he used that to turn the Acclaimed babyface. Because they were heel. Like, Max worked Joe in Joe's first match in AEW. That was what, April 2021? So it's like he used another heel act to organically turn the Acclaimed, which meant their presentation didn't have to change at all. They just slowly, quickly evolved into babyfaces. They lent into the crowd loving them. That was a really successful angle they did with the Gun Club. You know, I don't know if the match. I mean, I remember the dumpster deal they did. That was fun. But other than that, I don't think it was about the matches. They just got that show over and it worked. So credit to them.
Also, I also want to say I think they've probably had like the second best run as a tag team in AEW.
Yeah.
If you want to count their matches, because I don't think Lucha Bros had the match quality when they were champs. The Jurassic Express didn't, and SCU definitely didn't. FTR's first run, it was all right. They had a couple good of those. What was it? Dash with Glory, something weird like that.
Yeah, it was pretty short run too, right?
Yeah, and then if you look at the Acclaim, they had great matches with Swerve and Keith, and then they had the two great Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett
the FTR match. The FTR match.
Oh, the FTR match. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think they're one of the best success stories the promotion's produced thus far. Like they are a real credit to what everyone involved has nailed it on that front. So they're very deserved winners, absolutely.
Yeah, man. Everyone loves the Acclaimed part.
Absolutely.
All that good stuff, you know. Okay. Who we got next? We'll do WrestlePurists Best Non-Wrestler of the Year 2022. Number 1, William Regal, 53.5%. Number 2, Paul Heyman, 25.5%. Number 3, Stokely Hathaway, 16%. Number 4, Michael Cole, 4%. Number 5, Mark Sterling, 1%.
That last one rules. God bless.
God bless him.
So I was of the belief that Regal leaving AEW would hurt his vote. I'm legitimately glad to see that was not the case because he clearly should have won this. I mean, it did, but he still won it comfortably, and he should have, right? Like Regal was great on commentary for the Combat Club matches. He's just been he was a great presence on TV for AEW. So I think it was kind of, I think it was the right choice, and like, you know, fan loyalty aside, in regards to him leaving, it felt like the obvious winner too, right? Like he was all over the TV for a bit there, man. He had a big impact when he was there. So, Manny, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh no.
I had to establish my stance before throwing it to Manny as a Brit. You know, I had to get.
Yeah.
Look at Manny.
Cooking someone up. Bro.
Look how stern he is. Look at
He's a lizard pervert, man. You know, just I made a graphic of him earlier with a portrait of Queen Elizabeth as the Lizard Queen. I bet he has it somewhere in his house. He's a lizard pervert. Monty, I sent it to your post.
Man, he said, I made a portrait. I bet he has it in his house.
He sent it to him. Okay, I've got it here.
Here we go, folks. We're about to see this thing that allegedly.
It looks like.
Oh, it's not going to get us in trouble, man.
No, it's not. It's not even like ridiculous. Like it kind of looks real, you know.
That's good shit.
Yeah.
By the way,
Manny getting better at graphic design is like,
bro.
the terrifying.
Rookie of the year gimmick he did for the Late Night Grim one was unbelievably funny, and Shoot's smaller than me, which made him really mad. So.
Okay, this is just introduce you guys to Manny's latest piece of artistic talent.
Mm-hmm. That is actually good.
That's what I said.
Oh, I'm now realizing that I saw this tweet and didn't even notice it. Because I remember seeing a tweet with him next to him. Why is Manny tweeting this? Is this like a scoop or something? Beautiful.
Oh man, he never fails, you know.
Legendary. Anyway, there's your best non-wrestler, folks. There he is.
There he is. Yeah, there he is, right there in all his glory. Yeah, man. Like everything like Joe said, really. I ain't really got anything to. I ain't got anything to say about it, really. It seemed like a home run, to be honest. Great on commentary, great on screen, great wrestlers around him. Do you know what I mean? Because that does matter for something. You know, managing and being around great wrestlers, like it helps you be able to like build your case. You know what I mean? It's like we was talking in the group chat. It's like Stokely Hathaway, like he got 16%, which kind of like even it surprised me, to be honest. Like, I'll be real, as much as I like Stokely, I'm surprised that he even got that many votes. But next, like this year, 2023, hopefully you can, like, you know what I mean, get going properly, you know, and be featured a lot more, because he definitely has the potential to finish number one on a thing like this. So, yeah, man, definitely watching out for Stoke this year. So,
for sure.
Quick super chat before we move to the next one. Sheeda versus Mercedes is more personal, anticipated match. It's definitely up there for me as well, man. Sheeda's great. Mercedes is great. It's an easy one, you know. It's one of those matches as well. It doesn't need a story. It can be a TK. It can be a TK special. You know, you can throw them out there.
It's
have a
one
banger.
of those ones you have one of those like dueling pre-tape gimmicks. They main event Dynamite the next week. You know, like that's a great match. And you give it 20 minutes too, because if that's slotted correctly and has the right amount of time, that can be like a genuine match of the year contender. I mean, you saw what Sheeda and Jamie looked like a couple weeks back, right? Like you sprinkle Mercedes star power and put her wrestling brain in there too, because that's her and Jamie is like a genuine one. I know earlier you were kind of, you know, I understand the focus on Joshi talent, but you said like Britt and Jade. Bro, Jamie and Mercedes has to be one of the big matches, right? Has to be. So,
yeah, Jamie's world champion, isn't it? It's like Israel was talking about yesterday on the podcast. She was just like, okay, so Israel comes into New Japan. Mercedes comes into Wrestle Kingdom. Like, into Wrestle Kingdom, lights go off, big deal. And even though the Stardom match was in the middle of the card, and you know it wasn't a 40-minute epic, you know, I get it. But like, you know, as far as Stardom goes, that's one of their literally 5 minutes. We'll talk about that as well, because Potman. She comes out and she goes straight after the top girl. You know what I mean? Lays her out, makes a statement clear. So it's kind of like that's kind of the mood I'd be looking for in AEW too. It's like she needs to come in for the head, and like, you know what I mean? Like she's Sasha Banks, man. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to see her fucking.
To be fair,
doing
Monty,
bullshit. Like, you know,
Kyrie is the only person on the roster. So,
Kyrie's the only person on the roster.
Wait, hold up. Why did you want to talk about you said we should talk about the IWGP time match because it popped you. Why?
Bro,
I'm intrigued now.
They got given 5 minutes and had like a legit 3.5-star match out there.
It was really
like,
good.
It was good, like really
I understand
good.
what you mean now, yeah. I thought you just meant it popped you that they gave him 5 minutes. So I was like,
I guess it did. You know what I mean? Like, I love shit like that, bro. Give them 5 minutes and they can still get like a fucking good. Like, that's pros right there, bro. You know what I mean? Tam and Kyrie, like, come on, bro. You know what I mean?
I think they could have got, you know, it'd be nice if they got like 8. But I understand.
Yeah, bro, if they got given like 8-12 minutes like that, like I probably had like a 4.5-star ceiling on it. Like, they could have really gone after it.
How long did FTR get? 10?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
Cole was
pretty
10,
much everyone else got 10 except for like the main event.
Could have probably shaved the machine gun match, you know, a minute or two.
That was good. It was good.
I didn't say it wasn't. I'm saying it could have shaved a minute or two. You know, that's all I'm saying.
Singles title, you know, I mean, Tokyo. Like I said, it's the Tokyo. It's a New Japan match, and so it's just kind of like.
Well, Cole Anderson watches WWE, but yeah, other than that,
but it's a New Japan match, though, isn't it? You know what I mean? Whereas like
you're right.
Yeah, man, it's if it actually comes into AEW, I want to like do big business, big coming for the crown shit. You know what I mean? None of this like tag partner, happy go lucky, happy to be here bullshit like that. You know. Manny, who's like top of your list from potential Mercedes opponents outside the WWE? Because I don't know where you're at with this. You know what I mean? Because you hate women and everything.
Kenny Omega is main answer.
Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah.
It's actually a mixed tag. It's actually a mixed tag match.
No, bro. I want one woman. I want one
Mercedes.
female.
Hang on, we got to hear this. Hold up, let him cook.
Mercedes and Punk versus Britt and Kenny.
Damn, you didn't even put Cole in that match?
What?
That's crazy, bro.
Okay, give me what's one singles match? That's the top singles match you want to see from Mercedes, from like a Stardom, TJPW, AEW, Impact. You know? Cook a bit of Mercedes versus Diana.
What's going on here?
Riho?
Yeah, the Riho match is like
Yeah.
that match would be incredible, man. Like if Mercedes leans heel just for that match, because again, I wouldn't bring her in as a heel, but she can work heel that match. Riho selling. That match would be tremendous.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think Sasha does a really good job selling. So it's like I wonder who's gonna like outsell each other because Riho is also a great seller. And the match I'm scared about the most is her versus Jamie because I feel like Jamie's just gonna try to take her head off, and Sasha's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm down for it," and then like
Yeah,
she
because
gets
that's
hurt.
what makes she's part of why she's so great is that she's like a natural fit as the bumping babyface, which she would be against Jamie right now, right? Like she'd be taking these big bombs and flying around the ring, but she's also great on the other side of things, being like a really aggressive heel, targeting a body part. Like she's just a great wrestler. So I think the whole answer is we just want to see her wrestle, really.
Yeah, and also Mercedes has been doing a lot of lucha training, so Jamie's also a good base.
Yeah, factual.
Yeah, cheers. I wonder how much of that gets incorporated in, because she's always kind of like flying around and stuff anyway. But it's just like, I hope she doesn't try to get too cute with it,
Yeah,
she definitely is. She's probably gonna do power drivers and all that.
yeah.
power drivers.
She's gonna do like, like close fist punches, like she's in a mask versus mask match. Okay, so next up we got WrestlePurists Best on Promos 2022, as voted for by fans and media. Number 1, MJF 56.5%. Number 2, CM Punk 15.5%. Number 3, John Moxley 13.4%. Number 4, Eddie Kingston 10.1%. Number 5, Jay White 4.5%. MJF with another huge win.
I don't know how people watch Dynamite every week and be like, "Fuck, man, MJF's cooking, bro. He's cooking a pile of shit, bro. That's what he's doing, bro."
He's cooking a pile of shit.
I watch Dynamite every week, and I'm like, how does this man go 1 for 4 every week, like every month? Like this guy only has one good promo every so often. Like, I'm kind of scared of what this feud with Danielson's gonna be like, because Danielson can't help himself with this like crappy promo talk. He's gonna be going like your mom's a slut and all that. It's gonna be nonstop, and because that's the kind of shit Danielson likes to do, and it's gonna be unbearable.
Okay, Monty, I'm sorry, but just read that again. John Moxley's percentage, please.
13.4.
I think that is like
insane.
I honestly think it's a disgrace. He cuts a good one every single week on that show. He does pre-tape, and he's not just the guy who has like good promos. He's top promos, like some of the best promos of the year, right? Like the best, the best player wants the ball, the ace wants the ball. That's like a classic promo. I don't even mind he didn't win, but that percentage like makes me mad. If I'm being totally honest with that, frustrating.
You know what happened? People aren't listening to Moxley. People are just tweeting. During his promo, or they're getting ready for podcasts. Nobody's just sitting there dissecting what's going on in his promos. People just see MJF and like you don't have to listen to. Oh no, he just cut another great promo.
Just they don't know ball, bro.
Just put your phone down and just listen to a good promo.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I know he didn't really surprise me. I would vote for CM Punk, Pop. But again, I agree with you. John Moxley getting on you. Yeah,
John Moxley voted for him too.
Bro, why is it funny? He's
because he was look. I love CM Punk. You making me do this is like a real challenge. But he was not there for like 6 months of the year, and when he was there, he had that program with Hangman, bro. Like I don't know. I'd love to vote for him, but I couldn't. He was anyway. More people vote for him for Mox. What the fuck do I know, right? I mean, it's what it is.
Bro, Punk, you know what I mean? That promo with Ace Steel, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he's great. I love him.
That's real. That's wrestling right there, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I get it. Here's what it is. We'll vote for him this year, Monty. All right.
Yeah. And he's world's champion again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'll be a day, won't it?
Oh yeah. But yeah, MJF won by a landslide. Shout out him. Yeah. Next up, we had Booker of the Year, WrestlePurists Booker of the Year 2022, is voted for by fans and media critics. Number 1, Tony Khan, 50.95%. Number 2, Triple H with 25.2%. Number 3, Rossi Ogawa with 16.75%. Number 4, Shanshiro Takagi with 4.55%. Number 5 was Gato with 2.55%. Not the best year for Gato this year, was it?
That's kind of wild. You actually read that out, like, man.
Bro, it's lucky from the reaction as well. So it's lucky he even got that, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, people are really down on Gato the past probably like 2 years now.
Yeah. I think the conversation we had earlier about, like, you know, the base of the audience and how what they watch hurts. It basically limits it to Tony and Triple H, and that's not fair. That's just what happens. Like, it's just when you have 4,000 people voting, that's inevitably where it trends, which is a shame, but it is what it is. And I think between those two, to me, it was like, you know, Tony Khan actually booked the whole year.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, Hunter didn't even do anything. I mean, he vote? He like booked a month of Raw, 2 months of Raw, you know, just like
at 5, but yeah, I know what you mean.
one pay-per-view cycle.
It's more than one, but yeah, carry on.
Yeah, like, who would you rather? I mean, like, who would you rather have in that 5 spot, like Scott D'Amore or what? I mean, like, I guess Gato's a good pick for that 5 spot.
Yeah, Impact's their day is coming. We're gonna get to Impact in a moment here, folks.
Conan, come on, man. Like, I mean,
God,
I don't even know. I don't even know if people even watch DDT. They just did it because, like, they just know that's where the promotion that Kenosuke come from.
So I voted for Rossi because it's just like Stardom just goes from strength to strength every single year. You know what I mean? Even though I've probably watched about 6 of their big shows this year. You know what I mean? And they've probably done about 30. Do you know what I mean? But Stardom's just growing and growing and growing, bro. And it looks like they're going to grow even more in 2023 if they can nail this Sasha business, you know? So, whereas like, when I look at Tony Khan, when I look at the others, none of them like earned it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Not Tony Khan. This is not Tony Khan's best year. It just isn't. You know what I mean? There's nothing really that stands out to me. Where it's like, oh, Tony Khan, like, you know what I mean? Book really. Triple H, all he did was kind of come in and steady the logic of the booking. You know, he hasn't really blown me away with anything. You know, like, yeah, he has improved the show a lot. He has, but it's just like I said, he hasn't really blown me away with anything. He's just kind of added logic to a product that never had any, you know. So, you know, then you've got Rossi, and it's just like I look at Rossi and I think like he really did like earn it. Do you know what I mean? Like he's really like he's hardly missed all year. Like there's been one or two things like what was that faction called? It was like Pink something. Someone in the chat might know, but Rossi split up a faction that like no one wanted to get split up. But like that's pretty much like the only thing I've seen people say about him all year. He's killed it, man. Like the pay-per-views, ask any like Joshi Stardom fan that watches them regularly, they'll tell you like happily like those pay-per-views don't miss, bro. Like they don't, you know what I mean? So yeah, like the promotion's growing, it's going from strength to strength. They look really well settled going into 2023. The Julia build and her getting the title was like excellent. Suri had an excellent like year-long title reign. You know, like even Saya's reign. And just like prominent featured acts like Starlight Kid, etc., Tam, Poi, all these people, they're really cooking something special over there. That's why I really want Mercedes to blow it up over there and just highlight some of the really special talent that they've got over there. It's really cool what they've got going on over there, man. So yeah, man, I'm all for Rossi. It was cool to see him get at least like he got 16.75, and for a promotion as small as Stardom, like I guess in context that's pretty good. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, Tony Khan ran away with it with over half the vote, so you know that's kind of where Book of the Year was. Shout out Tony Khan, I guess. You know,
I guess.
You know, shout out him. Shout out Tony Khan.
Hey, look, the direction was up and down, but he produced a lot of good wrestling shows this year.
Yeah, definitely. And it wasn't his easiest year either. Like even like just the injuries, even just injuries and shit, bro. Like. Never mind like Brawl Out and this and that, and half of the talent that he brought over from WWE saying they wanted to go back and all that bullshit. You know what I mean? So you know, to come out of it and still have like the consensus perception of the best booker on the planet is all power to him, man.
Messiest year creatively, I think, by distance. You
Yes.
know, but it's part of the rest of the candidates, and unfortunately, a lack of knowledge, myself included, again, to be clear, regarding stuff outside of the main two US promotions. Obviously, Ghetto I could speak to. I wouldn't vote for Ghetto because we don't need to explain that.
Pink Kaduka, that was a stardom that Rossi split.
Okay.
Shout out Jamie in the live chat.
This year, I'm putting Tony's feet to the fire because I need to see how he's gonna book.
Yes. What do you need to say,
Book Buddy Matthews, because like he does not wrestle.
I love the decider. That's what they'll decide.
That's where you draw the line. You know, crosses that line, it's over. You know?
How do you let Buddy Matthews show up to TV every week and you look at him and be like, all right, you go film your pre-tapes and send him on his merry way. Like, come on, man. And then you book that match against Ortiz and Eddie Kingston. And then you put Malachi Black and Brody King. Come on, man. What are we doing here?
Where is that going? Who is the first? Is Santana actually coming back?
Homicide's coming in.
Ooh.
Well,
Pop.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, Manny. To be honest, I somewhat doubt that, but it would pop me. So that works.
He's gonna grab Malachi. He's gonna pretend like he's gonna get him in the eye, and everybody's gonna be freaking out. And then he throws a mist on him, and Homicide turns on Eddie Kingston. That there you go.
What
if
he gets the
Homicide?
If he gets the other eye, Malachi would have to do meet and greets like this. Just close it completely.
Just.
Yeah, he's a fun character, you know.
If you're telling me you don't pop when when you see a picture of a fan with their arm around Malachi Black, God bless, he's taking a photo of him, but when he does this shit in a fan photo, every single time it pops me. He'll never not. That's incredible, man. What a
real
bit.
worker, bro.
Apparently so. That's what I hear.
Mr. Parker, you're asking what do I see in Buddy Matthews? I see a fullback, someone that could.
A player, brother. You see a player.
Bro, Buddy Matthews is great, bro. We was pushing him strong on this channel and on Late Night Grin very strongly before he came into AEW, and we realised that he wasn't going to do anything in AEW. Yeah, when we just kind of given up in the past like 6 months or so, probably longer than that. A couple of super chats still coming in. Tetsuya Koda would have won if Miyu had won the Princess Cup. Can't quite remember what that is in reply to, but appreciate the $5, of course.
I think that was the Tokyo Joshi Pro talk we were having earlier.
Bree Wu 199. Dagger and Tessa divorced. Well,
that was a shift.
Yeah. Go from Miyu to Tessa divorce. Yeah, man. Shout out for the super chat, though. I appreciate it. Okay, so next up we had Show of the Year 2022 as voted for by fans and media. Number 1, AEW New Japan Forbidden Door with 45.65% of the vote. Number 2, WrestleMania 38 Night 1, 23.95%. Number 3, Clash at the Castle 11.95%. Number 4, Full Gear 10.7%. Number 5, AEW Revolution 7.75%.
Has anybody from the Ringer reacted to this tweet yet?
Not as far as I'm aware. Not as far as I'm aware.
Kevin O'Connor.
I thought this was quite a this was the one I was expecting. This is the win I was expecting for this one, but I don't know about you.
Yes, I agree, Monty. Forbidden Door was a great show. Every match was rated like 4.5 by Dave, which was a great fucking awesome thing that I remember more than the show at this point because I bring it up so often. It was a great show. I still will die on the hill that Revolution deserved more love than it gets. It got like 7% of the votes. Kind of blew me away. But I think that's a case of if you love Revolution, you probably just simply preferred Forbidden Door for the most part.
Did you vote for Revolution?
I think so. Yeah, I
think there was like you, Murph, and one other person from media that voted for Revolution, and that was it. Like,
I love the way it had the 4 big singles matches. I just like the way it was structured. But nonetheless, Forbidden Door was epic, obviously. Not a bad match on the show. Not surprised to see WrestleMania get some love because that was a real spectacle.
Got a lot of love. It got nearly got nearly a quarter of the vote. So
it was a really
I was
fun
surprised,
show.
mate, to be honest. I thought it was going to be like completely AEW dominated, and it ended like WWE ended up getting spots 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I think what happened there was just everybody was voting. Everybody that liked AEW was just voting for the Forbidden Door show.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And the other ones got hurt.
But I guess you could say the same with like WWE. Do you know what I mean?
They feel like really different shows, though. They feel like to you, Monty, because I think Clash of the Castle and WrestleMania Night One have like very different
they do.
identities as wrestling. Like,
the
other one, while it's in a stadium, it does feel a lot more in-ring reliant. That WrestleMania was very much. I mean, the matches were great, but
spectacle, celebrities, big time. It was a real Vince show.
Vince Triple H, I guess, would be the separation in some ways there, right? I guess would
be definitely. Clash at the Castle was great as well. Crowd was hot. My favourite moment of Clash of the Castle was probably Sheamus getting his standing ovation after having a 5-star match with Gunther.
What a moment that was! Yeah.
That was special, it was a great show. Obviously, Mania Night 1, Stone Cold, fucking Cody Rhodes, Becky versus Bianca. Like, do you know what I mean? Just keep going. It was a really, really entertaining show. Forbidden Door was just like in-ring level was just like insane. Really, do you know what I mean?
Great
that
crowd
level,
too.
Yeah, it was. It was. Then I think like Full Gear and Revolution kind of just fit like the maybe not so much Revolution, to be honest. Like when AEW pay-per-views is like a certain level, you expect them to hit at least like an 8 out of 10,
Yeah.
And I think Revolution was kind of an exception. If you go back and rewatch it and you look at the card and how it all ended up, it probably is one of their better pay-per-views that they've ever done. So I'm quite surprised that they only got 7%, like you said, Joe. So
yeah,
man. Sure, Forbidden Door. Don't think that surprised anyone except for the people in like the WWE like bubble. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe. But yeah, moving on. WrestlePurists Best In-Ring Wrestler of the Year 2022 is voted for by fans and media. Number 1, Will Osprey, 48.2%. Number 2, Dax Harwood, 18.6%. Number 3, Seth Rollins, 17.3%. Number 4, John Moxley, 9.2%. Number 5, Gunther, 6.7%. So Will Ospreay won that by a very large margin.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly for me, to be honest.
I made my shameless Dax Harwood agenda clear on this program. I have nothing to hide, but I did concede when we were previewing. Like when you just really look at the collection of matches, the quantity plus quality combined, Osprey's really hard to match. I mean, he churns out great matches at like an insane, almost unprecedented rate. So I have no issue with it, even if the sicko in me was hoping for something hilarious to happen regarding Dax DX. But I think Osprey, this award in a lot of ways felt kind of like built for him to win. Because
this year,
he did every other week, bro. I mean, it was like a 5-star match to his resume. It was fucking ridiculous last year, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He gets to that point when we talk about Best in Ring, it was like last year having the Observer Awards, it was Shingo. And it's like very similar in the sense that like when you look at the resume and they're just adding these 5 stars, like it's insanity. Like that's the best way to like describe it because the level of output and the quality to match it is like just insane. And Osprey even got injured at some points at this show, so it's like it even makes it even because he had the neck injury, if I'm not mistaken, and then he had that lung infection.
Yeah,
which took him out the Rev Pro show, which I was going to go to. He pulled out of that show, but I was just like, well, I'm not going to the show full stop now. He was meant to be wrestling Suzuki. So as soon as I saw that announced, I bought my ticket. You gotta, don't miss them ones. But unfortunately, I'll probably see him at some point this year, maybe.
I was lucky. I saw a couple. I saw he had a match with. He had the Ricky Knight Jr. match. I saw the Ishii match, and then he had those 2 New Japan. He wrestled Shota on night 1. Remember they did the red shoe stoppage. There's the like mercy stoppage, and then they had a really fun 10-man where he was opposite FTR, so I got to see him and Dax like whack each other a few times. He's unbelievable. I mean, he's probably honestly the safest bet in wrestling. I said to you, you can have any wrestler in the main event of your show, and you're in a pinch, you need it to be a great main event. I think Osprey's the pick.
Yeah, easy.
You know,
because he brings it every time, bro. Like, he's wrestling on Dynamite or in fucking York or for Rev, bro. He goes at 12,000%. Like, it's what he does, bro.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's building a legacy, bro. It's what he wants to do. Like, that's kind of his mindset and his goal. Like, he just wants to build the resume, the legacy, and that's what he's doing, bro. Like, that's what we're getting to see.
Mm-hmm. Cheap plug, Manny. I want to get your take on the best in ring before I do that. Cheap plug, and a thank you actually, everyone that reached out about the Osprey Omega review on WrestlePurists. That was very, very cool. I appreciate everyone who did so. If you haven't, read it and you're interested, don't know why you would be after watching me talk for an hour and 21 minutes about these things. But if you are, it's over on WrestlePurists now, WrestlePurists.com. Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. I heard it was pretty good Monday. It was my conclusion.
Yeah, it was a special time. Special time calls for a special feature. We had to call in the big guns. We got Joe Hulbert to write up something. You know what I mean?
It was unbelievable.
Joe only writes when it's 5 stars. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've seen him try to do like TV stuff.
It's become like an alarm that I've seen a great match. Like Joe will message me the day of or the day after, like I'm going to write a feature about that.
The funny thing is, I do the opposite with the Grim, where I only review like weird, like novelty matches. Like on the Grim, I did like 800 words about Brock Anderson and Daniel Garcia, like typing away furiously about the selling of Brock Anderson. But yeah, it was an amazing match, special match. Manny, what do you think? Osprey, the right winner of this one?
Yes, he's obviously the right winner. I'm glad people didn't fall into the Gunther train, with his 3 good matches he has this year. But man, Osprey, man, you can just put Osprey anywhere in the world and against a shitter, and you'll have a great match. Yeah, he's an animal in there.
He's an animal.
He's always beasting and feasting out there, man. He's a good guy, good wrestler.
Animal. He is an animal. Yeah, man. WrestlePurists promotion of the year 2022 is voted for by fans and media. Number 1, AEW 51.6%. Number 2, WWE 25.65%. Number 3, Stardom 19.2%. Number 4, New Japan Pro Wrestling 2.7%. Number 5, Impact 0.85%.
Mad. God bless, man. What a bit.
I'm mad that my lads at Ref Pro didn't make this list. They deserve to be in that number 5 spot.
My lads.
Honestly, this is like copy and paste our Booker of the Year conversation, right? Yeah. Like the overlap is almost exact, but Impact getting that vote was the real headline here. We're being real.
I think this is the one. I think this is the one award that you shouldn't have put the percentages in.
But it makes it. You gotta. You know what I mean? People need to know that AEW got over half the vote. You know what I mean?
To be fair, it's still like 350, 400 votes. Oh yeah, nothing to sneeze at. That's not bad.
No, it ain't.
It's like the amount of people that watch their TV show.
Is it?
Oh yeah, it's on 30 or some shit.
It was less than 1, isn't it? I just realized.
Yeah.
All right, never mind. Scott D'Amore, I take back that.
That's like their. No wait. They don't even rank on their freaking on the TV chart. So I mean, of course, it makes sense that they wouldn't even rank that good in this.
Bro, I really tried to throw him a bone, man. I really went to throw Scott D'Amore a bone, but hey, listen, man, 300, 400. And I realized,
it's not as bad. Impact, it's not a promotion I'm going to start watching, and especially when they do like Bully Ray main event in pay per views, and it's the only time they've drew in about fucking ages. But it's not actually as bad as we like to joke and make out on the timeline,
No,
but it's also not as good as it's also not as good as what people who watch it try to make. Like if you go to Cage Match and look at the match rating, you're probably thinking it's like, you walk in the King's Road in the Impact Zone. And that's not what's happening, Anyway, moving on. Talking of walking the King's Road, match of the year. WrestlePurists match of the year 2022 is voted for by fans and media. Number 1, FTR versus the Briscoes, 1 at Supercard of Honor, 22.3%. Number 2, FTR versus the Briscoes, 3 at Final Battle, 21%. Number 3, Gunther versus Sheamus at Clash at the Castle, 16.8%. Okada versus Osprey was number 4 at the G1 with 16.5%. Number 5 was Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell, 16.2%. And number 6, because there was 6 on this award, CM Punk versus MJF at Revolution, 7.2%.
This is genuinely impressive. Like legit, like them having 2 FTR Briscoes matches and it resulting in that 1 and 2 with like a combined 40 plus is it says a lot about how great that series was.
Yeah.
So
one of the best trilogies I've ever seen, genuinely.
Obviously, I co-sign. It was amazing.
Yeah, genuinely one of the best series I've ever seen. One of the best trilogies I've ever seen. FTR versus Briscoes. Some of the best matches I've ever seen. Full stop. To be honest, as a whole, as a package, as a trilogy, it's definitely one of the top ones I've ever seen. But even just the matches individually, like they just stand on their own so well. Especially number 1 and 3, but got 1 and 2 for our award. Yeah, man, just really special matches. Really special matches between like Briscoes are like my favorite tag team of all time as well, so it's just cool to see them like up there as well. It feels like the story's all about like FTR. Do you know what I mean? Like the discourse, everything's all been around like FTR, great FTR. This, but like just Briscoes, bro. Still them boys, bro. You know what I mean? Still them boys. Very special trilogy, very special matches. The first, I'm still undecided between the first and the third myself. Yeah. The first was more special in the sense of like atmosphere.
Vibes, special atmosphere for sure.
You know, maybe not even vibes because the third one's such a like chaotic. You know,
they're perfect in very different ways. It's hard to.
I don't know. I think the third one was best. I mean, I was there live. You know, it was a crazy atmosphere from the Roosh riot to the
snuck that one. The Roosh riot.
It's ridiculous behavior. It's ridiculous.
Joe, wait, hold on. Did you see the video he posted on Twitter?
I did. Yeah, sorry. It's good stuff, man. God bless him. Good for him.
But then. And then you're just watching Jay Briscoe throwing all the freaking melee weapons at Dax in the crowd. All of it is freaking awesome. Then all the blood everywhere. And then Mike Posey getting bladed or not bladed.
The finish itself was just like, I love that finish. You know, like just fucking even like the way like Cash would like. So like the big moves in the finish was. Jay being able to hit the superplex on Dax onto the pile of chairs. In the way that Cash like he's on the outside and he's being held down by the chain the whole time and he tries to like reach up as fucking Dax is getting suplexed. It's just a really great visual. And even the visual then goes into another great visual of Dax being choked out with the chain and Cash fighting and struggling and doing everything he can to try to get into the ring. It was real art, you know. As Dax said, it's his masterpiece, and the trilogy as a whole was a masterpiece. So,
I still have the visual of Dax reaching for Cash's hand, and the Briscoes theme "Shoot for the Skies" comes out like playing. This fucking rules.
Yeah,
it's funny the first and third match of the bit, like you know, second match is clearly the third match. I think in terms of quality, as great as it is, it's still to me anyway. It's clearly third. But the second match might actually have my favorite like singular moment in the trilogy, which was when Dax and Jay just like boxed for 30 seconds and Jay fucking opened up a huge cut over Dax's eye with a right hand. It was like, I've never seen anything like that. I love that
because it was late into the match as well, and like they're all like tired and shit, and like Dax is pulling up his trucks like an old, like your dad. Like, you know what I mean?
Jay lined him up and fucking nailed him with a straight right hand. It was unbelievable.
Jay
was it as crazy? Was it as crazy as that Necro Butcher punch from PX? Did you see it?
I did. Yeah, it's very different, but yeah, maybe not as crazy. No.
Quick super chat. Want to fly through these last three awards as well?
Yes.
Well, we've got like 5-7 minutes left. Emin Reznov, massively appreciate you with the $6 super chat. Hearing the entire place chant "Go Ace" while Moxley had Tanner in the hole gave me goosebumps. Def deserved. That's obviously for the Forbidden Door main event between Tanahashi
Great
and Mox.
moment.
That was definitely one of the things that stuck out to me about that match. Was sort of like Tanahashi is just like that good of a fucking babyface that you can just get over anywhere, basically. Even against like the other company's ace, the other side of the planet.
Legendary, bro.
He's
Legendary.
one of the best babyfaces literally of all time. Easily as well. I think there isn't that many people that would disagree with that. Darren Walker, £2. Who do you think the Briscoes feud with in 2023? Bro, I just hope I see him feud anyone, to be honest.
I would like to see Top Flight, personally.
Ooh, the Acclaimed.
Ooh.
No,
I can't get on AEW TV though, man. That's the kicker.
I think Top Flight may just have a little run in Ring of Honor. I will say.
I do want to talk about real quick before we move on is the Briscoes FTR one. I still have that memory of Daxon and Jay walking into the ring and then everybody going crazy for him. That still just plays in my head all the time.
And Dax getting off the apron to fucking high five fans and shit because he's just fired up, you know.
Those matches were so awesome. Fuck, man, there's so many moments. What a trilogy.
Which takes us to the next one pretty smoothly, to be honest. WrestlePurists Tag Team of the Year 2022 is voted for by fans and media critics. Number 1, FTR with 65.5% of the vote. The Usos, number 2 with 14%. Young Bucks, number 3 with 10%. The Acclaimed, number 4 with 8.75%. Aussie Open, number 5, 1.75%. God bless them. This was the biggest win by any of the awards, with FTR getting 65.5%. And to be honest, I don't think that surprised pretty much anyone.
No.
You know, even the people who are kind of down. You know, this is the WrestlePurists channel, and we do have friends and podcasters here that are very down on FTR. I don't even think it surprised them, to be honest. You know. Even though they do they do the beats and the pop themselves, and you know some of them genuinely just aren't into FTR at all, but they can still like I said, I doubt they surprised them at all. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not blind. Do you know? But yeah, man, FTR. Everything we basically just said about the trilogy, you can kind of translate pretty much throughout the year. Obviously, it's important to mention that they obviously held 3 different world titles, being IWGP New Japan, the AAA. And the Ring of Honor tag titles, which is obviously a great feat. The match with Aussie Open in England, very special as well, to add on top of the trilogy that they produced. They've got the Bucks match that they had, which was great. And there's been loads of... the Acclaim match was really good, really good. They've had loads of really good matches. The Bishamon match at Wrestle Kingdom, really good. They've had loads of really good matches, but they've had some like real special epics in the Briscoes trilogy and the Aussie Open match.
I think the match that gets slept on a lot is the match they had with the United Empire and not Aussie Open, but Jeff Cobb and
that's what I was about.
Cash was excellent in that.
Great O'Con,
Great O'Con, that match was awesome.
I agree.
Yeah. Cash was excellent in that, man. They're great. We ain't gonna do like the whole FTR circle joke because we've only got 4 minutes left. Yeah, I was gonna say like, what can we like say? But sorry, you know what I mean?
We've covered it, folks.
Yeah, FTR are really good.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Okay. WrestlePurists Women's Wrestler of the Year 2022 is voted for by fans and media critics. Number 1, Bianca Belair. 45.9%. Number 2, Jamie Hayter, 19.5%. Number 3, Shuri with 18.9%. Number 4, Julia with 11.5%. Number 5, Saya Kamitani with 4.2%. So Bianca kind of ran away with this one. I think it goes back to kind of like the promotion and book stuff we was talking about with just kind of platforming it. And that's nothing to take away from Bianca, but because Bianca's like kind of had like a John Cena year. She's beat everyone. She's won at WrestleMania. She's had some really good matches. She's had some really bad, not really bad matches, bad feuds. But like, you know, she has been like the ace, and you know, it's like even with Jamie Hayter coming second again, nothing against her, but it's like, you know, if you're tapped into stardom and you're watching Shuri, it's kind of like, it's not really that comparable, you know? But yeah, it's kind of like another thing with the women's awards, like the bottom 3, Julia, Shuri, and Saya. It's like they all kind of take votes away from each other. Because if you're into that fan base, you want to vote for one of them. It's like you can only pick one. I mean, it's like WWE people, they're only going to vote for Bianca, and AEW people, some of them will vote for some Stardom wrestlers, but a lot of them did and would vote for Jamie Hayter. So that's kind of what I think happened here. Although I'm not saying Bianca didn't deserve it, I think she absolutely did. She had her high moments and stuff. It's like even in the picture we tweeted, it's like that match with Becky, you know, it's just like a classic.
Honestly, man, it's just a different thing, right? It's a different role that she plays, and like her case is different to just like it's not as match heavy, but I understand why people instinctively vote for her because she's been the face of that division. So it's like
exactly, yeah.
The audience that's voting for Bianca is probably not looking at it the same way that maybe nerds like you or I would. So she's great, though, obviously. Bianca's special.
It's Bianca, bro. It's Bianca. Like I'm never gonna sit here and be mad about Bianca winning anything. She's like one of my favorite women's wrestlers, genuinely of all time, and she's only been around for 2 minutes. Like she's, you know, classics at WrestleMania already. Like she's, you know, love her. But yeah, I think, like I said, I think the Stardom fan base kind of took away from each other on this one, because you know we all know that's kind of where the premier wrestling for women is. So you know, moving on. Obviously, shout out Bianca Belair. She did win with 45% of the vote. So like I said, never would sit here and say she don't deserve it with those sort of numbers. So you know, but yeah, moving on to the next one. WrestlePurists Wrestler of the Year 2022 is voted for by the fans and media. Jon Moxley, number 1 with 40.6%. Number 2, Roman Reigns with 22.4%. Number 3, Will Osprey with 15.4%. Number 4, Seth Rollins with 12.3%. And number 5, Dax Harwood with 9.3%. So, in our Discord and stuff, there was a lot of people are unsure like who was going to win. Like, a lot of people are kind of worried that Roman was going to win, sort of thing, you know, because there's a lot of AEW fans in that Discord. But you know, Moxley won by a pretty safe margin in the end. It just kind of popped me to see people kind of sweat. See ya.
Okay. Raw.
Oh, no, my dog opened my door.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, Jon Moxley, wrestler of the year. Not surprising. I think I read a stat the other day, and it was like in just AEW, Moxley's wrestled like 46 times on TV and on pay-per-view for AEW in 2022.
Oh, wow!
Which is like, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
I haven't fact checked it, but it sounds right. You know, that does sound right to me.
Sure.
Yeah, man, Max has been an animal. He's kind of been going, his year by design has pretty much gone like this. Do you know what I mean? He's been wrestling every week and he's been trying to have like 4-star matches or upwards. Like you can visibly see him wanting to have a wrestler of the year type run. And he has, clearly, you know.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, you know, the rightly the narrative elements playing to this too, where it's like AEW was sold over the place and he was like the steady force, right? He kept things on track whenever he could. And, he had an unbelievable year in every which way. Great promos, great matches, and as I said, those extra kind of story elements of what he meant for the promotion. I think it was a natural choice. Manny, what do you think, Moxley, rest of the year? Happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. As long as you're happy, mate. That's what matters to me. All right. I suppose we should let people watch Raw, right?
No, we're going to do one last one. We're going to do one last one while we've still got 70 people here. Wrestler of the year.
Oh,
was also Jon Moxley.
I forgot.
Was also Jon Moxley.
My bad.
Wrestler of the year. So obviously we, for those of you that care to know, we did put in quite a lot of effort trying to get votes off wrestlers, DMing them, emailing them, contacting them, pretty much however we could without being like weird, you know. And obviously, like not everyone replied. Otherwise, we would have ended up with like fucking 500 votes or something. Man, no, not that many. We did get some good responses. You know, we didn't quite hit 100. Didn't quite hit 100 wrestlers, but I think we got about 60 or 70. I think I put 60 in the tweet, but there was quite a few wrestlers from WWE, AEW, New Japan, Impact, American Indies like GCW, etc., UK Indies. You know, pretty much all over the place. Obviously, Japan was, you know, a bit difficult because need a translator, etc. But yeah, man, I think we got quite a good range of votes, you know. And like I said, Jon Moxley ended up winning this one as well with 19.2% of the vote. Number 2 was Speedball, Mike Bailey with 16.4%. Number 3 was Dax Harwood with 13.7%. Number 4 was Roman Reigns with 12.3%. Number 5 was Will Osprey with 11%. And obviously that doesn't add up to 100. Everyone else voted because this was an open vote for the wrestlers. I just let them openly vote for whoever they wanted.
Right.
So obviously there was kind of like people with 1 or 2 votes. There was a couple wrestlers that just voted for themselves to pop themselves. There was there was that. But those were who came out on top. John Moxley.
So
obviously Speedball doing very well.
that was cool. So can we make a vow now, Monty, that when we sell this website one day, we're very rich, and they make the the documentary, how WrestlePurists brought the game back, or whatever it's going to be called. I don't know. It's your choice. Are we then going to be able to reveal these votes? Because it feels like there's some money to be made there.
Like the Ballon d'Or. Like the Ballon d'Or for those. Obviously, this is we've probably got most American fans. Ballon d'Or is like the soccer award for the best player in the world, and it's voted for by like captains of each team and stuff like that. And you get to see the list like after it comes out of like who voted for who. Yeah. It's always pretty interesting to look at and pretty cool. With this, we have kept it strictly anonymous because
it would get everyone in trouble.
Yeah, basically.
One day, brother.
Also, as a wrestler as well, it's not cool to be known as talking to whether it's Dave Meltzer or fucking me or backup Hangman. Like, it's not really an amazing fucking image. Do you know what I mean? Especially with the way that like dirt sheets and shit are like viewed by fans. Do you know what I mean? Like, in reality, it's not a problem. Do you know what I mean? But it's just kind of like, people get weird with these things, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's like with Sean Ross Sapp. It's like Chelsea Green apparently knows everything, can tell Sean Ross Sapp everything now. Do you know what I mean? Because people know that they've like had conversations and stuff. So people start doing that sort of shit. You know what I mean?
Or Britt Baker and Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, it's like with Dave, it's a bit different because he's been around so long. Obviously, that was a path, but it's just like if people know that I talk to somebody and I put out some news about a particular
Bruce
promotion,
Pritchard.
people are gonna assume it's Bruce Pritchard. Do you know what I mean? So kept this one anonymous. It'll probably stay anonymous, but it's still a cool award to see what the wrestlers think of.
For sure, yeah.
But the Speedball thing was surprising even to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know he's very rated by like his peers and stuff like that. But like to that extent, like I was surprised. I was actually quite surprised. Josh Alexander got quite a few votes as well. If there was an honourable mention, I think like Osprey literally got like 1 or 2 votes more than him to like make the top 5 list. And Josh Alexander gets a lot of. Josh Alexander got quite a lot of love off Indian, obviously Impact wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's so insane. I mean, I can't believe Osprey got that low of a rating.
It surprised me, Osprey. I have to admit. But I don't know.
Interesting, nonetheless. Didn't surprise me. I was surprised that Roman got as little votes as he did.
Well, I mean, we don't have to get into who voted, but my read was that the people that vote for him was not necessarily going to be voting. You know what I mean? I don't think Bruce sent a ballot in.
Yeah, that's fair. Give me that one.
Yeah. It's pretty skewed. I mean, it was still very, very interesting. It was a cool addition to the awards, absolutely. Did a hell of a job, man. Monty's, well, it has to be said, right, man? Monty's been talking to us about this concept. When I say concept, I'm aware that Monty has not invented the award idea, but like his particular approach to it was like you were thinking about this for a while.
Yeah, I always wanted to do it, even when I first started WrestlePurists. Like, I always wanted to do awards, especially the Wrestler award thing, because I think it's just a cool thing that no one's done before. But like, even with the awards, like those percentages, it's like half of the vote is the fans' vote, then the media vote is separate. Then you work out the average. You know what I mean? Like, you bring those 2 percentages together, and that's the final percentage that you guys see in the tweet. So it's very like that. I think that's like kind of my way of trying to not make it like lopsided two-way, if that makes sense. You know, because sometimes fans can get a bit, I don't know. It's like the combination definitely like evened out a lot of these votes in a more, I think, fair reflection of consensus and stuff like that. While adding the media votes and kind of giving them a bit more leverage than the fans. But yeah, man, I kind of enjoyed doing it. It was quite a lot of time putting it together and stuff. But, if anything's worth doing, it's going to take a bit of time. So I definitely think this was worth doing. We'll be doing it again next year. But yeah, first wrestler of the year was John Moxley. John Moxley also won the media. John Moxley won every single one. So Moxley won the Wrestlers Wrestler of the Year. He won the Fans Wrestler of the Year. He won the Media's Wrestler of the Year. Then he won the combined Media and Fans Wrestler of the Year. Do you know what I mean? That's the tweet that you saw. And
Did he win the Hall of Fame vote?
don't have those numbers in front of us.
Before it just comes on here and says anything.
What a way to undercut this incredible achievement.
I know.
Monty's like did this big sell on how prestigious this is, and then he's like, "What about this?" You know, he just throws it out there.
I know, my bad.
Yeah, man. Shout out, Marks. He, obviously, like I said in the tweet earlier today, if you didn't see it, over like 4,000 fans voted. There was like 60, 70 media members, critics, creators. And there was about 50, 60 wrestlers. So, yeah, man, I'm quite happy with it. I think we can do. I think next year we'll be able to get more wrestlers, more media, and that's kind of how we'll keep building it. And obviously, as the platform grows, hopefully it goes from 4 to 5 to 6 to 10K votes. And if we can get that magic 10K votes, that'll be like really big for me. You know what I mean? Because that makes it like really legit. You know, if you have 10,000 fans vote on something like that, makes it really legit. 4,000 is definitely nothing to be dismissive of, and it's definitely really big, and I'm really proud of it. But once you hit 5 figures, bro, it's kind of like you can't ignore it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to talk on this because obviously for the Golden Grinnies we got around 4 million, so it's hard for me to kind of reset my mentality. But yeah, I mean, you'll get there, mate. Keep chipping away. You know what I mean? Keep grinding.
I do want to say it's pretty cool how Monty's growing this thing, because when he was talking about the awards, I was like, I don't know if we're gonna get that many people to do it, to vote and all that. And then you look at how fast the Discord is growing, and I don't know how many people we're at now, but
Discord, the Discord's really like even surprised me, bro. And I'm 100% faith in this brand and what it can do. Do you know what I mean? But the Discord having like 1,200 people in it already is like insane to me. Ayo, obviously. No one tell him that I'm shouting him out because I'm sure he's not watching anymore. But he's done a really great job with the Discord, and I really appreciate what he's been able to do with it. So
he must have turned off when we did that FTR 15-minute segment. He must have been like, enough of this shit, man. Like, it's just enough.
And I want to give a shout out to Afar for always live streaming in there and everything like that. And like, I don't know, I'm just shocked at how fast this brand is growing and how we were able to do an award with actual real wrestlers and media people actually voting in. Because, you know, like, WrestlePurists hasn't been around for a year yet, right? Less than a year?
We started the website in March 21. Yeah.
And just look at how much the brand has grown in that short of time, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's been we've had a good time, you know. Had a good time here as well. The WrestlePurists Worldwide podcast, where we've talked about the WrestlePurists Awards. We've talked about Vince a little bit. Talked a little bit about Mercedes.
Lizard perverts.
Lids perverts, yeah. Talked about the Briscoes. We've done.
Is there a Hooper of the Week?
Oh, I did earlier last week, but the winners were Kenny Omega and Will Osprey. There you go.
Gonna be honest, guys. This is a professional take from me here. Would suggest that I not be the one who has to remember that segment moving forward. I feel it will end badly for all of us.
No, I didn't forget about it. I just, since I did it on Thursday, I forgot that I should do it on Monday too. Since I do it on every Monday show.
Manny just said, I didn't forget about it. I just forgot about it.
He didn't forget about it entirely. He just forgot about it today. You know, I think that's what he was going for. But, yeah, man, we'll let you guys enjoy Raw as Baron Corbin is wrestling Kevin Owens. I'm sure everyone's rushing to see that. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like I said, everyone, thank you so much for voting on the awards if you did, or even if you just interacted with one of our tweets when we was announcing it and stuff like that. It all helps, and, you know, we really appreciate the support. As Manny said, shout out Far, always helping out in the Discord as well. Yeah, genuinely one of our best supporters, Faris, along with Bam, along with many of the people in the live chat that I'm seeing right now. And just shout out the WrestlePurists team, man. Whether that's Jamie, the head writer, whether it's Joe, Manny, any of us, man. Actually, appreciate it. 2023, we're looking at doing new content, new ideas, and stuff like that. So hopefully, we can keep growing and keep this thing going. And as our good friend Philip Brooks would say, until the wheels go off, you know what I mean? Until the wheels fall off, we're going to be here and we're going to be chipping away and we're going to try to blow this thing up, man. We want to be the biggest wrestling website in the world. And as crazy as that sounds at this point, it's what we're aiming for. So if we get halfway there, then we're doing something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If we get a quarter of the way there, we're doing something. We're just going to keep chipping away and doing the best we can. So all the support is massively, massively appreciated. And I'm going to stop boring you now. So like, subscribe. Appreciated all the super chats. Joe, Manny, anything you want to plug real quick?
Dumb Guy Live tomorrow on WrestlePurists. My main plug. I get a cut of the super chats on that show. Jamie doesn't know that yet, but he's put in the chat, and I would like to remind everyone to watch Dumb Guy Live. I'm just playing. Dumb Guy Live is fucking awesome. I message Monty every week, like, we need to get everyone to watch Dumb Guy Live.
Yeah,
it's fucking great. Please watch that show.
It's just nice wrestling conversation.
It really is nice. It's
one of my favorite shows. I always listen to it while I cook something.
Parker's so. You talk about being comfortable at the wheel, you know? It's so smooth, you know?
Damn.
We're so hectic over here. Like, it's so smooth. So, Dumb Guy Live.
Damn, I had a graphic and I used one of Parker's pictures. Dang it, man. I forgot to post it for this.
Oh, my God.
Pop.
Okay.
Well, yeah, man. Dumb Guy Live tomorrow. Manny, anything?
Me and Joe are going to watch Dynamite live on the Late Night Grin. We're going to watch the debut of Mercedes Moné.
Hopefully.
And then
hopefully.
And then hopefully. Money. And and follow me on my journey to 100 Lucha masks. We're almost there. Think only.
How come the wall's looking kind of naked at the moment? What's going on?
Well, I mean, I only have half the wall filled. You should see the wall in front of me. It's like a crazy bit. Like only
that's what they
one
all
half
say,
of the wall.
Pop.
I just finished my whole. I collected all the masks that Mystico wore. From Mystico to stupid ass Sin Cara mask to Mysticis to Carlisico to Mystico again. Man, that Sin Cara mask is ugly. I just have it on my wall with all my other cool masks, and I just look at it, I'm like, man, why the fuck did he wear that mask, man? It's just ugly.
Pop.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, follow Manny on his journey through Lucha masks and Lucha heritage. You know,
losing my money in the process.
Yeah, losing a lot of money in the process and claiming every week that he's not buying anymore, and then he buys 4 more.
So I actually did stop buying some masks. I brought my last few that I needed for the collection, and after that, I'm kind of done. I'm just waiting for him to come in with the next month and a half.
I'll believe it when I see. Anyway,
I ran out of room too.
Pop. Anyway, again, appreciate everyone for tuning in, everyone who supports us and listens to us kind of waffle about fucking wrestling for nearly 2 hours. But yeah, please like, subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow with Dumb Guy Live. Peace.